There is a silver lining to this election, because there happens to be a really important sports lesson to learn from it. That was why it was called the presidential race. Preach! Testify! Look, I'm going to put it out there. Doing sport successfully is harder than being a politician, and in the aftermath of the US presidential election, I can see why I think this. Look, long-term success in sport or physical activity is just one of the hardest things to master. That's why lots of people don't do it. See, they get their newbie gains in the beginning, but once they hit their first obstacle, like injury or stagnant performance, then they just stop. See, the only way to continue when you've found yourself either hurt or you're not getting any better, you're in that scrap heap cul-de-sac, is you've got to look deep inside yourself, because that's where it's going wrong. It's a knowledge deficit. You either don't know enough, or what you do know is incorrect. Let me tell you a quick story. I was naturally talented, and in a lot of ways, that was as much a curse as it was a gift. I remember being in class when I was about 16 and being told that I had about 10 minutes to pack all my stuff up and get down to the minibus because I'd been entered in some sort of regional championships that was on that day. So I barely make it down there in time because, well, I was more concerned about which cassette tape I was going to listen to on the Walkman. But we arrived with about 20 minutes to go before the start of the long jump, and I forgot my spikes. So I entered the arena, and 18 minutes later, warm-up done, practice jumps taken, spikes borrowed, I'm ready to go. And within 2 rounds, I've won the competition. Anyway, I carry on jumping because, well, it was a nice afternoon. And at the end of the competition, one of the competitors comes up to me and asks me who coaches me and what sort of training sessions I did. I replied to him, no one, and I just mucked around with my mates. And he gave me this strange look, like I was being standoffish, like I didn't want to share my secrets with him. And then he just walked off. What he didn't realise, though, was I was telling the truth. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know that you could train for athletics. I didn't know there were such things as athletic sessions. My training was rugby, Rocky, and rough and tumble, probably in reverse order. See, although what I was doing might have been categorised as tomfoolery, the real shenanigans started when I got a coach and started training properly. I trained diligently for a whole winter and lost a metre. I redoubled my efforts and trained even harder the next year and lost another half. In my 3rd year of training at uni, I was jumping 6 metres, which I'd done when I was 14. In that last summer, I was really disillusioned, and I just decided I'm done with this. So I just stopped going to sessions, no more track and field, no more athletics. But then, after about 3 days, I got itchy, and so I just went back to my old mucking about and Rocky training. Sort of jumping over and on top of things and chasing cars down the street, that sort of stuff. Okay, I need to explain that. Otherwise I'm going to have a whole load of road traffic accidents on my conscience. Right, cars go about 20 to 30 miles an hour on the side streets, but they kind of glide along. When I used to see them, it would make me want to go that fast, but do it like they do, effortlessly, like just kind of glide along after them. So I would just chase behind them. Plus, the expression in their rear view mirrors was priceless. I'm seeing this guy tearing down the road, Carl Lewis fingers after them. And about 6 weeks later, I get roped into doing this competition. Well, there was this girl that I liked, and no, anyway, different story. But so I go to the competition, and yeah, I get the meter back. So I think I break the record or something, and I jump like 7:30. So sorry, the whole point of this story is that I realised then the established way of doing something isn't always the right way. I mean, admittedly, the gift of natural talent may mean that simply you've got a better understanding and feeling of what balance and harmony is for your body. And so when you drift away from it, it's going to become more obvious to you, and you're going to have a better chance of getting back to it. The curse is that you're less likely to accumulate the knowledge until it all goes wrong. And even then, you're less likely to take the appropriate reaction to the feedback of failure because you're not used to it. Basically, it makes you a slow learner because you've never had to actively learn and analyze. I remember Tony Robbins talking about the Kentucky Fried Chicken story, where Colonel Sanders went round to all these family restaurants trying to get somebody to franchise his fried chicken recipe. And he got turned down like 999 times, but he kept on going. Because the point of it was that failure is not failure, it's just feedback. My missus has got a practice that if something isn't working, she just changes it immediately and does the opposite and see if that works. And I've got to be honest, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Because although Sanders cooks some good chicken, If 100 people in a row tell you they don't like your chicken recipe, you need to start changing your herbs, spices, and giblets. For the human body, if what you're doing isn't working, you need a wholesale change. To improve in physical activity, it forces self-reflection and self-analysis. It doesn't permit blame shifting and echo chambers. It doesn't allow you to ignore the facts of your own experience. Oh, you can ignore them, but you won't solve the problem. Pain and poor performance is like a real-time buzzer that goes off every time you think something wrong or do something wrong. Now, drag it back to the election. The establishment liberals in the US failed liberal-minded people the world over. When the establishment system doesn't work, it needs to change. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that the American people have gone from being injured by an Obama-style track and field session to now signing up for a Donald Trump CrossFit. Well, I suppose the Rust Belt could start manufacturing kinesio tape, made in the US. Call it the Bust Belt. But Hillary was no yoga. She was more like bodybuilding. Been around a long time with a lot of shady practices, using the media to spread misinformation, had some sort of huge self-perception and image problem. And now, in the face of defeat, those establishment liberals are still suffering from bigorexia, still thinking the bubble gut's aesthetic. If you want the best chance of succeeding in your sport, or winning elections, you need to do the following. Line your perception of reality up with all the facts, don't cherry pick them. Be willing to change how you see the world in a second, which will change what you do if you're failing. And use all of the knowledge and experience that's available. You've got to solve your limiting factors as quickly and as often as possible. And no matter how you feel about the result, start training to solve your limiting factors quickly and often, because either you're working out for the fiesta or you're training for the apocalypse. But either way, you need to be doing it right. I hope this helps. Bust me a thumbs up, because let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good. And if you like my vibe, please subscribe. Make sure your pose isn't tilted forward or backward. You need stability.